Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, that answers all your stock related queries. Now, in case in this current deep red market, you are looking at your portfolio, getting worried about the key stocks in your portfolio, what is exactly happening with them, in case you're also worried about what exactly should you be doing with your fresh funds at this point, is it the right time to invest or not? Well, all of those questions will get answered on the show. Top market experts will guide you through your own specific stock related queries and also share an outlook on the markets as well. We are also looking at the current market. Let's quickly look at how the current situation is evolving. There's a 60-point of a downtick, 22,062 odd levels currently on the Nifty. When we look at sectoral action, at least half of the sectors are still in the red. When we talk about autos, FMCG, the pain has aggravated. There's an over 1% cut on this. There's also IT and pharma from the defensive pack that continues to reel under pressure, realty, infrastructure, and even the private banks that are under pressure at this point in time. There's a mixed action as far as the broader markets are concerned, with the mid caps dropping in lower, but the small caps still holding about 0.5% higher in trade. PSU banks up 1.5%. You also have the consumer durables, oil and gas, metals and financial services, all of them that are still holding up with some gains. Let's actually look at the PSU banks that are making the top 5 names of the markets. Well, there is State Bank of India, that's definitely up on the move. Then apart from that, we also have some defense related counters like BEL, that's holding up 2.2% higher. Trent is also getting into some action. There's near 2% uptake. You have BPCL and TCS as other stocks that are still holding up in trade. On the lower end, you have Bajaj Auto, that's down about 3.5%. Bajaj Finserv, Nestle, Hero Motocorp and HCL Technologies are all the stocks that are declining in trade. Let's actually look at some of the other spaces as well. In the PSU space, apart from the banks, like I said, it's the defense stocks that are garnering some traction. So HAL is up by 3.5% today. You have HPCL, you have IRFC, REC, BEL, and all of these stocks that are holding up over 2.5%, 3% each as well. In the F&O, there's a lot of action. You can actually see some renewable energy space in action today. So SJVN is topping as far as the F&O space is concerned, over a 7.5% uptick on this one. From the broking related spaces, there's Angel One, that's up by about 4.5%. Titagarh Rail, again from the railway story, is actually going strong today. And of course, OMCs with lower prices on crude oil, you can actually see all the OMCs, IOCL, BPCL and HPCL up and about. Let's look at the broader markets too. Interesting names that are up and about. Mostip Technologies, that's 8% higher in trade today. You have Suven Life Sciences from the pharma and the life sciences space, that's another 8% up in trade today. You have TCPL Packaging, 8.5% higher. There's also India Cements, Epigral. Then you also have names such as automotive stampings in India. A lot of auto ancillaries are actually doing well, even when the frontline auto space is still about low in trade. Jyoti CNC Automation, another one that's actually holding up. Even the EV related stocks, JBM Auto as well as Electra Green Tech, these are the kind of stocks that are actually buzzing quite strongly in trade. Let's actually welcome our guest on board. We have Kunal Parar, Vice President, Technical Research, Choice Equity Broking, joining in. Hi Kunal, how are you? Warm welcome to you. Tell us what is the sense that you are getting on the markets? We did test 22,000 in trade today again. So I want to understand first, are we preparing for 21,800 with this volatility? Is that looking more likely, or will that be offering us at least an interim bottom from the fall that we've been witnessing in the markets?
Well, definitely we are experiencing some kind of downside, and we may witness this 21,800 level. Not only this, Nifty has already given a breakdown of this 22,750. Now, this is not the only reason. Even if you look at the OI chart, if you look at the OI analysis, then downside strong. A maximum OI position comes at 21,800. Now, that's the intermediate support. Even if you talk about before election days, then Nifty were continuously taking the 21,800 as a strong support, and afterward we also witnessed a good upside momentum as well. So two clues are there. One is from the maximum OI and the second one is the technical chart of 21,800. So definitely I am seeing a downside momentum from the present level up to the level of 21,800. Now this is the big question, rather that Nifty will hold this support or not. Let's say if Nifty break this support and further downside momentum would be there up to the level of 21,000. So it's like 50-50 scenario is there to hold this support. From the present level, we may see this 21,800.
Okay, got that. Well, Kunal, we will also have a lot of our viewers asking you questions today as they have been continuing to ask us questions because of this continuing downfall. But I just want to get a sense from you. Have you already started to nibble in into this fall? Do you think these are attractive levels? Whether we cannot time the market, how soon or when the recovery will finally start. But do you think this is the right time? If somebody is still sitting on cash, they should start to look at opportunities within sectors and stocks? And where exactly are you advising that?
Well, definitely, if I talk about my personal level, then I have started by accumulating the stocks in large cap because large cap stocks are trading at a very strong support and these stocks are very low beta. So we can expect some good upside momentum in this large cap counters rather to focus on the mid cap and small cap solely on these two sectors only. Now, right now, I'm not talking on any particular recovery because the way option chain analysis is telling about its story and the way FI is continuously the selling side since last 4 to 5 months. We may witness some downside momentum to the level of 21,000. So rather to talk about this recovery part, one has to indulge with accumulating the stock at present level. Now many stocks are there from different sector. One is the LNT. Right now LNT is trading at some good strong level. We may see some kind of bounce back momentum. Not only this, Reliance looks very good. Not only this, if we talk about Geo Finance, Tata Tech, not only this, if we talk about PSUs, the HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, all these stocks are trading with strong support, and we may see some kind of bounce back in these stocks. So, if one is sitting with the cash, this is the perfect time to indulge with the creating a portfolio side.
Okay, fair point. Let's actually look at all those questions that are coming in from our viewers. Then, for you, Kunal, we have a lot of them are joining in on our YouTube platform. So I'll welcome all our viewers. We have Avdesh Thakur, Kamlesh Narkhere, Avnish Chaudhary, Satya, Aman Aneja, Vasant Reddy, Chandan Jain, and also we have Ankur Modi joining in, Vinod Chaudhary. Warm welcome to all of you. Thanks for already starting to write in your questions. We'll take all your questions one by one. Avdesh Thakur has two questions, two stocks on which he wants to ask a fresh entry opportunity for the long term. One is NHPC. From the power related space, and the other one is IRFC from the railway space that has got into momentum from the last couple of days. Let's try and understand on both these stocks. How are you finding them technically placed at this point in time?
Well, let's talk on the IFC first. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think we may see some kind of bounce back in this IFC counter. Right now, IFC is trading at 1113 level. Downside stock has a strong support at 100 level. So I'm not seeing any fall below this level. But let's say if stock falls below this level, then it will be like a good opportunity to get into stock. Even one can get into stock at present level. Right now, stock is trading at 114. We may see good upside movement up to the level of 150 to 165. And if you talk about NHPC, I think one should avoid NHPC as of now. Now, rather to focus on the NTPC. NTPC looks very attractive on the present level. One can keep eye on this NTPC because stock has already formed its bottom at somewhere around 295. Now, you know. Right now, stock is trading at 312 near to its 50 days moving average. So, I think NTPC will give speedy recovery compared to NHPC. So, one should focus on the NTPC rather to focus on the NHPC. So yes, from my side, it's a thumbs up for IFC and thumbs up for the NTPC.
Okay. Let's actually look at some other questions. We have a caller with us. Sai is joining in on the phone line from Hyderabad. Hi, Sai. How are you? Sai, can you hear me? Please go on with your question if you can hear me. Okay, I guess there is some trouble. We are unable to connect with Sai on the phone call, but there are a lot of questions that he also has put in on our WhatsApp number. So I'll take his question like that. Kunal, first is on the railway stocks again. So he says on RVNL, IRFC, Ircon, Jupiter Wagons, and Titagar, he already holds these stocks, but he has about 35% losses on all of these. So is it the right time to average, if not all, at least some of these stocks, RVNL, Ircon, IRFC, JWL, and Titagar? Where do you find promise and where can he average?
Well, we have already discussed on the IRFC, so definitely one can go for averaging in IRFC. Now
Yeah.
let's talk on the other stock like Ircon, RBNL, and Titaga Vegan. So if you talk about Ircon right now, Ircon is trading at 142, and it is trading with a strong support of its 130. So we may see some kind of bounce back from the present level, this counter up to the level of 224 to 236. So yes, definitely one can go for averaging, particularly in this Ircon. Now let's talk on this RVNL. Right now, RVNL is trading at 327. I'm seeing a further correction from the present level up to the level of somewhere around 288 to 260. Now let's say if stock approaches this level 280 to 300, then only one can go for creating of averaging in their existing position. As of till that, please avoid this to create any averaging. And if we call about the Titagar Vegan, the way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think we may see a further downside momentum in the counter. Right now, counter is trading at 693. Stock has already given a breakdown of its strong support, which was placed at 790 level. Further downside momentum would be there up to the level of 580. So if stock approaches this level 580, then only one can go for average as well.
Hmm. Okay. Got that. Let's actually look at some other stocks then. We have this question coming in from one of our viewers. This is Avnish Chaudhary, and he has a question on रेमंड, एक्मे सोलर, पीसी ज्वेलर्स, इन सब पे आपका व्यूज़ चाहते हैं ख़रीदारी के लिए, फ्रेश एंट्री के लिए. और रेमंड या एक्मे सोलर या पीसी ज्वेलर्स तीनों ही बिल्कुल अलग अलग क्षेत्रों से स्टॉक्स हैं. और रेमंड टेक्सटाइल स्पेस, लाइफस्टाइल स्पेस और साथ ही रियल एस्टेट स्पेस में से है. और एक्मे सोलर हम सभी जानते हैं सोलर रिलेटेड स्टॉक है, और पीसी ज्वेलर्स में ज्वेलरी रिलेटेड या जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी रिलेटेड स्पेस है. कोई ऐसा स्टॉक इन तीनों में से जो आपको अभी पसंद आ रहा है करंट लेवल्स पर जहां खरीदारी की राय देंगे?
वेल एक्मे सोलर को मैं अभी टाइमिंग के लिए अवॉइड करके चलने की सलाह दूंगा. एंड नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द रेमंड. राइट नाउ रेमंड इज ट्रेडिंग एट strong support of 1190, and right now stock is trading at 1290. Even stock faced this strong resistance before, and now that resistance has become a good support for the counter. So one can go for creating a long position in Raymond at present level with strict stop loss of 1190 on a closing basis. On upper side, we may see we may see some kind of bounce back up to the level of 1520, and more above it up to the level of 1645. So for Raymond, yes, it's from my side. And third counter, can you please repeat the third counter's name?
सो पीसी ज्वेलर्स एंड एक्मे सोलर.
Yes, yes. So if you talk about PC Jewelers, even PC Jewelers looks very attractive on a daily chart. Right now, PC Jewelers is trading at PC Jewelers is trading at 11 rupees. I think this is the correct price, right?
Yes, it has actually
Yes.
slipped down to 11 rupees now.
Yes. So PC Jeweler looks very attractive on a daily chart. It has a strong support at 10 rupees. So one can get into the stock at present level with strict stop loss of 10 rupees on a closing basis. If we talk about upper side target, and first target comes at 16, and if stock breaks this 16, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 19. So for PC Jewelers and Raymond, it's just from my side, and for Acme, please avoid as of now this stock.
Hmm. Okay, got that. Let's actually look at some other interesting questions that are coming in as well. Okay, Aman S. Aneja says, Hi Sakshi, how are you? I'm well, Mr. Aneja, and I hope the same for you. His question is on Hero Motocorp. He already has about 4 shares at 5100 and about 20 shares at 1810. So he's already averaged out quite a bit. Now he wants to know what is the future of Hero Motocorp and what should he be doing with his current position.
Well, if you talk about Hero Motocorp, the way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think we may see some kind of downside momentum because already Nifty Auto has given a breakdown of its important level. So further downside momentum would be there. Not only this euro, but overall auto sectors looks very weak sentiment as of now. So right now Hero Moto is trading at 3535 level. Stock has already given a breakdown of its 3750 level. For downside momentum, we may see some kind of downside momentum from the present level up to the level of 3450 to more below up to the level of 3200. So if you are holding a long future, then please exit as of now from this counter because further 8 to 9% of correction is still pending in this counter.
Okay, got that. We have a caller now with us. Sushant is on the phone line from Nashik. Hi, Sushant. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all well. Tell me what's your question? How can we help you today?
Yeah, so my question is I have a stock which is Jyoti Structures Limited.
Okay.
So I bought it at 18 rupees. And the other stock I have is KRN Heat Exchangers.
Okay, the recently listed one. Okay. And what's the
I
price at what
cannot
you
hear
bought
you
this one?
properly.
What is the
Hello?
price of KRN heat exchanger and for Jyoti structure?
Jyoti Structure I bought at 18 rupees and KRN
Okay,
Heat Exchanger at 700.
700. Okay, what do you have a long term view?
Yes, around 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Um, how would you explain this one? I know for KRN heat exchangers, you wouldn't have long term charts, Kunal, to really address this one. Currently, KRN heat exchanger is at 893. So, our user is actually sitting on profits. He bought the stock at 700. But the other one is Jyoti structure, where he bought at 80 odd levels. How would you advise him on both these stocks?
Uh, let's talk on this. Is trading at 895, avoids 50 days measure, recently listed stocks. We will see further upside momentum in the counter up to the level of 954 to 1012. So for KRN, please hold the stock with strict stop loss at 800 level on a closing basis. Now we talk about the Jyoti structure right now. During yesterday's trading session, Jyoti structures form hammer candlesticks formation, and based on this hammer candlesticks formation, we may see some kind of we may expect some kind of bounce back in the counter up to the level of 21. And if stock breaks this 21, then further upside would be there up to the level of 25. So if you have this stock in your portfolio, then hold this stock with strict SL at 16 rupees. Further upside would be at 21 and 25.
Okay. I hope this has answered your question. Next we have this question from राम देसाई संचोर राजस्थान. इन्होंने हिंदी में सवाल पूछा है और ये हिंदी में ही चाहते हैं इनको एडवाइस मिले. पहले तो ऑटो स्पेस से टाटा मोटर्स इनके पास है 540 के भाव पर और दूसरा है जामना ऑटो जहां पर इनके पास 120 रुपए के भाव पर 400 शेयर्स हैं. यहाँ पर आप दोनों शेयर्स पे क्या सजेस्ट करना चाहेंगे?
कल सबसे पहले टाटा मोटर्स की बात कर लेते हैं. आई थिंक 520 के अराउंड उनकी खरीदारी है. बहुत पहले की खरीदारी हो सकती है ये. मैं कहूंगा कि इसको आप फिलहाल होल्ड करके रखिए क्योंकि ये ग्रेजुअली जितने भी ऑटो सेक्टर्स है वहां पे जो हमें करेक्शन देखने को मिला है, हो सकता है यहाँ से फर्दर करेक्शन देखने को मिले 5 से 6%. लेकिन टाटा मोटर्स में काफी अच्छा सपोर्ट है 590 के अराउंड. एंड वहां से स्टॉक वापस बाउंस बैक लेके ऊपरी लेवल पे आपको 820 तक के लेवल दिखा सकता है. सो अगर स्टॉक 590 को अप्रोच करता है तो मैं कहूंगा कि आप वहां पे एवरेज करके चलिए ऊपरी लेवल पे 800 850 के टारगेट के लिए. एंड दूसरा जो स्टॉक दूसरा दूसरा कौन सा स्टॉक कहा उन्होंने?
जामना ऑटो. यहाँ पर इनके पास
ओके.
120 रुपए पर खरीद है तो यानी कि इनका जो लेवल है काफी नीचे आ गया है. अब 70 रुपए पर ये स्टॉक ट्रेड कर रहा है हाल ही की गिरावट के बाद.
ओके. जमुना ऑटो जो फिलहाल 70 रुपीज का अराउंड है, 120 की उनकी खरीदारी है. आई थिंक जिस हिसाब से करेक्शन देखने को मिला है, फर्दर करेक्शन भी ये स्टॉक में हमें आने वाले दिनों में देखने को मिल सकता है ना. अगर इतना वेट किया है तो मैं कहूँगा थोड़ा और वेट कर लीजिए. ये स्टॉक में आने वाले दिनों में 58 तक का करेक्शन हमें देखने को मिल सकता है. अगर 58 आता है तो वहां पे मैं खरीदारी करके चलने की सलाह दूंगा. वहां पे मैं एवरेज करके चलने की खरीदारी दूंगा. वहां से वापस स्टॉक आपको 90 से लेके 100 तक के लेवल दिखा सकता है. तो जमुना ऑटो में भी होल्ड करके चलने की सलाह है. 58 आता है तो वहां पे आप एवरेज करके चलिए.
ठीक है। अगला सवाल ले लेते हैं और ये हमारे पास सवाल आया है चंदन जैन का। ये पूछना चाहते हैं साक्षी, सीडीएसएल बीएसई दोनों को करंट लेवल्स पर अगर खरीदा जाए तो क्या खरीदना चाहिए? सीडीएसएल और बीएसई पिछली रैली के काफ़ी पसंदीदा स्टॉक्स रहे हैं कैपिटल मार्केट्स स्टोरी से। इन्वेस्टर्स की वेल्थ को नियरली डबल किया है इन दोनों स्टॉक्स ने। पिछले साल में जब रैली आई थी तो काफ़ी बढ़िया पैसा बना। उसके बाद जब कंसोलिडेशन आए ये स्टॉक्स भी काफ़ी करेक्ट हुए हैं अपने ऊपरी स्तरों से। अभी करंट लेवल्स पर क्या खरीदारी बनती है यहाँ पर कुणाल? दोनों ही स्टॉक्स पर आज गिरते बाजार में भी हल्की मजबूती है। आधा प्रतिशत ऊपर सीडीएसएल है और बीएसई 4458 पर चल रहा है और पिछले कुछ दिनों से ये भी मोमेंटम में है।
वेल, ये दोनों स्टॉक के लिए मैं आज के लिए थोड़ा सा वेट एंड वॉच करके चलने की सलाह दूंगा। आज नो डाउट बहुत ही बढ़िया मोमेंटम में है दोनों स्टॉक और अच्छे खासे सपोर्ट के साथ है, लेकिन ये सपोर्ट कंफर्म तभी होगा जब प्रेसिडेंट लेवल पे इन दोनों स्टॉक का क्लोजिंग हमें देखने को मिलेगा। तो आज के लिए तो मैं कुछ सजेस्ट नहीं कर सकता, थोड़ा सा वेट एंड वॉच करके चलने की सलाह है। कल के दिन में आज का जो क्लोजिंग आया है अकॉर्डिंगली मैं सजेस्ट कर सकता हूँ, तो आज के दिन के लिए उसको अवॉइड करके चलने की सलाह है।
ओके। चलिए, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर आपको अपने सवाल का जवाब मिल गया होगा। नेक्स्ट हमारे साथ एक कॉलर जुड़ रहे हैं फ़ोन लाइन पर और कुणाल जी के भी ये फेवरेट कॉलर हैं, कल्पेश पटेल मुंबई से ये हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं। इन दोनों की जुगलबंदी हमेशा काफ़ी बढ़िया चलती है। कल्पेश जी नमस्कार, आपके पसंदीदा गेस्ट हैं आज कुणाल जी। पूछिए क्या बताना चाहते हैं आप उनसे। कल्पेश जी क्या आप सुन पा रहे हैं? कुछ तकनीकी दिक्कत हो रही है जिसमें हम कल्पेश जी से बात नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, लेकिन हमेशा की तरह कुणाल उन्होंने शॉर्ट किया है मार्च के फ्यूचर्स में बजाज ऑटो को 7500 के लेवल पर। यहाँ पर आपकी क्या राय रहेगी?
वेल, मैं उनकी 7500 के अराउंड की जो उनकी फ्यूचर शॉट है उनको होल्ड करके चलने की सलाह दूंगा। एंड मुझे लग रहा है कि ये स्टॉक आने वाले दिनों में 7010 तक के लेवल दिखा सकता है। तो जो आपने शॉर्ट करके रखा है उसको होल्ड करके चलने की सलाह है। 7000 7000 वहाँ पे हम प्रॉफिट बुकिंग करके चल सकते हैं। तो अच्छा खासा फॉल प्रेजेंट लेवल से भी हमें ये बाजार ऑटो में देखने को मिल सकता है।
तो आपने सही किया है कि यहाँ पर आपने शॉर्ट पोजीशन ली है कल्पेश जी। 7500 से ये 7010 तक के लेवल्स पर आ सकता है और वहाँ पर आप प्रॉफिट बुक कर सकते हैं। ये राय आपके लिए दी गई है। नेक्स्ट we'll take another question. We have this question coming in from already. We have Avnish has already asked. Let's go across to Kamlesh Narkhede's question. His question is on the same stock that you were also advising, Kunal. NTPC and Power Grid from the power space. NTPC के शेयर्स हैं इनके पास 350 के भाव पर, पावर ग्रिड के शेयर हैं 328 के भाव पर और ये पूछना चाहते हैं लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए इन्होंने रखे हुए हैं ये दोनों स्टॉक्स और एवरेज भी कर सकते हैं करंट लेवल्स पर। करंट भाव पर क्या एवरेज बनता है?
वेल, डेफिनेटली पावर ग्रिड में ब्रेसियन लेवल से एवरेज करके चलने की सलाह है। बहुत ही बढ़िया सपोर्ट है 240 के लेवल का, और पहले भी 240 का सपोर्ट है। काउंटर ने ऊपर में 360 तक के लेवल दिखाए थे और अच्छी खासी डिविडेंड पेइंग यील्ड कंपनी भी है पावर ग्रिड, तो ब्रेसियन लेवल पे आप एवरेज करके चल सकते हो। और एनटीपीसी के ऊपर हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कशन किया था, तो एनटीपीसी पे मैं बुलिश हूँ। एनटीपीसी पे पोजीशन बना के चला जा सकता है। नियर टू 50 एमए है, जिस दिन ये 50 एमए को क्रॉस करेगी, या तो आप कह सकते हो कि जिस दिन 320 के लेवल को क्रॉस करेगा, ऊपरी लेवल पे आपको 370 से लेके 400 तक के लेवल दिखाने के लिए रेडी हो जाएगा। तो दोनों स्टॉक में फ्रेश बाइंग एवरेज दोनों करके चल सकते हैं। ये स्टॉक अच्छी खासी डिविडेंड पेइंग यील्ड कंपनी भी है।
ओके, चलिए यहाँ पर भी आपको राय मिल गई है। नेक्स्ट वी विल टेक अनदर क्वेश्चन एंड दिस वन इज फ्रॉम ओके वसंत रेड्डी. He says, hi, I'm holding about 2000 shares of Tirupati Surgeon Limited 15 rupees. I think it's a penny stock that he's got in. Do you at all track Tirupati Surgeon? Kunal, you can take a pick whether to answer this or not.
तिरुपति सर्जन जो फिलहाल 14.19 पे ट्रेड कर रहा है, आई थिंक इस पे व्यू देना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा, क्योंकि
Sure.
पैनी स्टॉक लग रहा है, लगातार लोअर सर्किट अपर सर्किट में स्टॉक ट्रेड कर रहा है। सो I will avoid to give my suggestion on this stock.
Sure. Mr. Vedant Reddy, it will be better if you look at some quality names rather than going after penny stocks. Even if you have to shell out a little bit more, it will be better to look at sound fundamental names which are both strong fundamentally as well as technically as well, rather than going for such for penny stocks. And our guest does not even track this one for you. We'll take another question. This one is from Satya CK. He says, please let me know if I can switch from my current position in emphasis to Signity Tech. And there is also a surge in both FI and DI buying in Signity Tech. So is that better than my current position where I'm facing a 25% loss in emphasis?
Well, the way both the stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think please avoid to switching as of now, because both the stock has been trading in a downtrend only. And if you cover Signitic, then we may see some kind of further correction in the counter up to the level of 1280 to 1190. Whereas if you talk about Emphasis, then Emphasis has a strong support at present level. Right now, stock is trading at 2236 level, and downside stock has a strong support at 2170 level. So, we may see some kind of further correction, particularly in the Signitech, rather to see that, but same in the Emphasis. So, do not go for switching as of now.
Okay, fair point. Well, we'll thank you then, Kunal, for being with us on the morning and the afternoon edition of Daily Calls, and always appreciate your views for all our viewers who keep on asking your questions, as well as you're patiently taking them up as well. Thank you so much for addressing all of those. Viewers, we'll now get into the second segment. We have another guest joining in to take up the rest of your questions. We have Mr. Prashant Tapse joining in from Meta Equities, and he's going to be addressing all your questions now. Prashant, welcome. Thank you so much for joining in. Before we take up some of the questions, tell us, how are you looking at the markets? Is a bottom in sight, or still, it's unclear as to where can we actually bounce from?
So I think markets is trying to look for some kind of last leg of movement and volatility. The way how Trump is making statements every day, every night, I think that is the reason why markets are trading very volatile. But obviously, yes, the 21,800 is looking some kind of support for the markets right now. But obviously, even 22,000 is a psychological level where investors are tracking. If it closes below, again, then 21,800 can be really watched. And any close below 21,800 in this week, and I think the markets will go back to its 21,500. So I'm not still clear with respect to direction, but obviously there are a lot of value hunting stocks which are looking good, which doesn't have any Trump effects in India. So Atmanirbhar stocks which are looking good for me at this point of time.
Okay, fair point. Atmanirbhar stocks is what you should be looking at. We have a question on the same lines that you have just pointed out from one of our viewers, and that's GS Arun from Hyderabad. He says, "Hi Sakshi, hope you're doing well." Very well, Mr. Arun, and thank you so much for asking. I hope the same for you. He says it's very clear now that Mr. Trump and his policy decisions are going to be impacting world markets, and at this point in time, I believe that no experience, fundamentals or technicals are actually working out at this point in time for me. So I am very concerned at this point in time. A lot of viewers must actually be thinking this way, that whether it is quality stocks, heavyweight counters, or whether it was always a technical strong stock, nothing is working in this kind of a sell-off, because you do not know when the next statement will come in and how that will guide the market going forward. Tell us, how do retail investors really read the sentiments? Is it better to stay away till the time dust settles on this?
Obviously, I think with respect to risk, if he's a risk adverse investor, obviously he has to look for some kind of value, stocks which have down by 20 to 40% due to this all Trump harness. So I think that would be a good, type of strategy one investor should look out for. If he's a very conservative investor, he has to keep away sidelines and then wait for everything to settle. At least market to bounce back at least by 3 to 4% from the bottom, whichever level we are discussing right now, and then he can take a better call. But if he's a risk taker, I think he should start buying some kind of the way I said you Atmanirbhar stocks, which will give them lower limited risk from the current levels. But obviously, whenever markets turns positive, those stocks will react very faster.
So, कुछ नाम बताना चाहेंगे आत्मनिर्भर स्टॉक्स जो आपने पसंद किए हैं, which you have identified in this falling market?
I think again Apollo Hospital should be the one stock one should focus. Again, it is a very no effect from no Trump. Again, he doesn't do anything on the healthcare sector, which is in India right now. Obviously, indirectly the pharma as a sector will be affected, but healthcare would be a sector where whenever you are in an emergency, obviously you need to go back to a best quality hospitals to get a best
Yeah.
treatment. So I think both in terms of technical as well as fundamental, Apollo Hospital looks very good. I think if you see 3-4 days, even days back, Narayan Rudhyalaya has done a very well. Again, it has touched all-time high. So I think Max Hospital, Max Healthcare, as well as Apollo Hospital, these two stocks should be risk-free with respect to Trump harnage.
Okay, got that. So healthcare stocks is something that you can focus on. Apollo, Narayana Hrudayalaya, Max Healthcare, these stocks could actually offer you value when the world markets are in a jitter. Then you can actually focus on inbound, strong fundamental stocks. Let's look at some questions. Imran Alam says, hi, good afternoon. I want to know which company looks strong among NTPC Green and Suzlon from the current price. Anything technically is what he's suggesting, where he can probably participate for a trading setup. We are seeing some bounce come in on the renewable energy space even today. Many of them have been showing us some positive signs. Between NTPC Green and Suzlon, do you find any value?
I think Suzlon should be a better pick. I think the story is really good with respect to all his business model. With respect to valuation, again, still I think NTPC will be very slow mover from the current levels. With respect
Yeah.
to immediate reaction on a positive side, Suzlon can give him a 10-15% momentum when market settles immediately. So I think there is a risk of 2-3 rupees again, but again, with respect to market bouncing back, Suzlon will give him 8 to 10% return. So I think you should go with Suzlon.
Okay, fair point. Let's actually look at some of the other questions. This is from Vijay Sinha from Hyderabad. Says, I have time technoplast. I'm sitting on 17% losses. I want to know whether I should add more. I have a 3-year time horizon and I have 25 shares, or should I exit from this stock?
I think a fundamentally very strong company. It holds almost 55% market share in terms of domestic industrial packaging segment. So I think he had to add more, at least double his portfolio right now with 25 shares to 50 shares. Average it out. I think a near-term target of very much near 400 levels can be looked once market settles down. So I think 1 or 2 quarters should be the time which he has to wait for at least. And he has a 2-3 years view. I think a 450 and 500 can be a target, but he has to accumulate these advantages with respect to fall.
Okay, let's take another question. This one is from Momita from Kolkata, and okay, she has an interesting question. She says, would it be a good time to enter Chinese market through ETF like Mastech? How would you advise on this one? Prashant, with the FIIs, this scenario was being built up in the last 2-3 months, sell India, buy China, because Chinese economy is finally reviving. There are some positive signs, and it was being seen that foreign investors are actually looking at options other than India. Should retail investors also look for options via ETFs to enter global markets, including the markets like China?
Obviously, yes, with respect to diversification, even geo diversification should be the part of your portfolio. China, as just because of the valuations are so cheap right now when compared to India, it is almost trading like 10p forward for China, as well as India is almost like sub 20 levels. So it is almost half the valuation which India is trading today. Only because of this, I think yes, one should go with respect to investing in China. Obviously, FIs are hunting for better valuation, safety again. But again, when we see yesterday night Trump's statement, he has given additional 10% tariff on China. So obviously, I think for another 1 month there will be a lot of disturbance will be seen in China, and you'll have a more advantage with respect to valuation. So I think yes, my view is go geopolitical diversification is the need of the hour.
Okay, fair point. Next, we have this question from Somalia Biswas. He is from Kolkata. He says that I have 1500 shares of UCO Bank and I want to know the target and stop loss of this stock. He hasn't shared a time horizon, but UCO Bank from the current levels, any targets you could suggest?
I think yes, with respect to PSU, again the stocks are looking very good at this point of time, but I will not advise him for going for a very smaller PSU stock. But obviously, he has already bought it. For me, a target of 45 to 48 can be seen with a 1 year view at least minimum, with a stop loss of around 32 rupees from the current levels. But if you would like to diversify or add another PSU, I think Bank of Baroda should be the best in class PSU at this point of time.
Okay. Next, we have Vinod Chaudhary asking a question from our YouTube. He says, thank you so much for doing this for retail investors like me. Thank you so much, Vinod, for writing in appreciative words. He says, I want to know whether these stocks are fundamentally good for 2 to 4 years. I'm holding Medi Assist at the rate of 542, and the other one is HPL Electric at the rate of 553. How would you look at these two stocks, Medi Assist and HPL Electric?
I think Mediasis looks very good for me with respect to its valuation at this point of time. Very much comfortable to add and then hold it for 3 to 4 years. Obviously, any stock as on today looks very good in terms of 3 to 4 years as a view, because even markets will be in a better place next 2 3 years back. So I think with respect to that, he can at least earn 15 20% of CAGR return in this company. So I think Mediasis should be the best in class, holding in his portfolio.
Okay, let's take another question. Okay, this is an interesting one. It can actually help a lot of our viewers as well. So, I am going to be taking Satyan's question next. He sent it on our WhatsApp number. He says, I am planning to restructure my portfolio, and I am also planning to book some losses for tax loss harvesting purpose. So, I want to know whether there are any few value mid or small cap or large cap picks that I could actually look at adding while I book losses on some of the existing ones. Any suggestion on tax loss harvesting, the way people should go at it? Remember, in the markets, we also say that even if you are making losses, there are ways to actually take benefit from that as well. And this is the perfect month where everybody looks to book certain losses to make up for it in the years to follow by booking losses and by tax loss harvesting. Therefore, you can set off either some profitable stocks in the next few years or by grandfathering as well. How are you advising clients on that? I'm sure a lot of questions would be coming to you as well for that.
I think yes, from last 2 3 days, we are working on after tax harvesting as a strategy for investors, because in this market we need to advise something at least for the traders to do some business for us as a broker. So obviously
Yeah.
yes, this is a strategy a lot of bigger HNIs does, because they know it very well, how to save taxes. One should understand with respect to investors, there is a long term capital gain tax and there is a short term capital gain tax, and long term will be adjusted to long term and short term should be adjusted to short term, as well as FNO. Again, FNO will be adjusted to FNO profit and losses only. Obviously, yes, one should go on review this portfolio with his advisor, then take a call on this. If there is a good fundamental strong company, then again I think obviously tax harvesting will be a good strategy for selling it at this point of time, booking losses, and again later very soon he has to buy the same stock. But obviously he has to take a call immediately if market goes to a bottom level in this week and the market goes up by 10 15% just to his call. So he'll go wrong in that. Obviously the loss will be very minimal, but obviously it's a good strategy to go now.
Okay. We'll take some other questions as well. This is Mr. Dasaradhi Ravi Kumar. He says, I want to know on my stocks, which is CEAT. I hold this stock at 2001-34, and I actually booked out certain certain stocks at different prices. I still have some shares left, about 35 of them. So what should I be doing with CEAT right now? The other is BEL, and he wants to know, he wants to currently add more stocks on BEL. He first bought it at 163. He wants to continue adding more. So he is sitting on good profits on BEL. CEAT, he's already existed somewhere, but what should he do with the 35 stocks remaining in his portfolio?
I think he has to exit at this point of time, because I see the medium term to very short term there is some kind of more negativity. Even Q4 earnings will not be good, because overall our auto industry is not doing good. If you see the February number with respect to Tata Motors, again a lot of sales were down by 9 to 10%. So I think that kind of similar impact will come to the auto ancillary companies like C8. So for me, Q4 earnings will be very much neutral to negative, and I think C8, Apollo Tyres, their numbers will also be similar to what auto numbers will be. So I think I will be advising him to exit at this point of time and then re-enter once it goes back to its 2200 or 2100. With respect to BL, obviously I think I will be advising him to add more at this point of time. I think again it's a Atmanirbhar sector, again BEL, with respect to defense and other government related electronic products which they make. So I think very positive on this stock. Obviously with a long term view, there will be some kind of downside with respect to earning disappointment as well as market sell off. So downside can be anywhere between 250 levels, but yes, obviously add more on tips.
Okay, we'll take another question. This is from Devi Prasad, he says, is it a good time to hold LIC India stock for the long term? What are the expectations from this stock? Again, a stock which has been extremely, volatile. It has tested a lot of patience for investors, thinking that, one of the largest IPOs that came in could be promising, looking at the size and scale of the company. But the stock prices haven't rewarded investors much in the past. Any suggestion on LIC?
I think I will be again testing his patience for another longer term. The way they said, "Zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi," so I think their investors will go ahead with the same tagline. Very difficult to advise him to buy at this point of time. Obviously, upside is very limited. There can be a 5-10% best case scenario. On downside, obviously, sell off is more. There can be more downside with respect to the level of 700. So, if he is a longest investor, he can hold this. Otherwise, there are a lot of many options with respect to insurance companies. Niva Bhopal looks good for me because it's the highest, fastest growing EM insurance business right now. So I think he can shift more to private insurance companies for at least better upside. For this, again, he has to go with the tagline.
Okay, let's take another question. This one is from Samvit Nageshwar. He says, good afternoon to everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much, Samvit, for sending in your concerns. We're all good and hoping the same for you. He wants to know, is it advisable to invest in ICICI Bank at the current market price for the long-term time frame? Banks and financials came out to be consensus for a lot of analysts right in the beginning of the new year, thinking that this will be a space where investors can probably hedge their position since they have not performed in the past. What's your sense on ICICI Bank right now?
As a long-term investors, yes, I agree. 1,200 rupees would be a good level to start accumulating. Again, medium term to short term, there can be a target of 1,300 rupees. But as a long-term investors, obviously, top 4 big private companies will do better. And we have seen when market comes back to its own better levels in terms of valuation, I think banking would be a sector which will turn first on a positive side. I think there is some kind of positivity today. If you see all the 4 banks, SBI, HDFC, ICICI, and
Yeah.
Access, they are doing better, at least trading in a greener zone. So there can be some sense of value buying by a lot of big investors at this point of time. So I will go ahead with positive for long term.
Okay, we'll take another one. This is Lalit from Hyderabad. He wants a view on either IDFC First Bank or Federal Bank for long-term investment. Where do you find more promise, IDFC First or Federal Bank?
Federal Bank for me, I think yes, because there's a lot of management change. A big management has changed from Kotak to Fed Bank. So I think he would be doing a lot of corporate changes and all in terms of strategies. So I think for me, a long-term investor, I think in the private sector and a smaller private sector, I think Federal Bank should suit well for him for long-term investment.
Okay, there's a new user who's joined in for the first time with their question on on our WhatsApp number, YP Deval. He wants to know on two stocks for next 2 to 3 years time frame. He wants to know, can I invest in Dixon Tech and Trent? Now, both these stocks have actually had a stellar past. I mean, Dixon being, of course, in the niche space of EMS, semiconductors. We've actually seen the stock go up sharply, then consolidate as well. But the stock price is still hovering around 14,200. There were erstwhile concerns on valuations as well. Trent slipped below 5,000 odd levels, corrected quite a bit from the rally that it had seen. Trent was the top performer of the Nifty stocks in 2024. Thereafter, in the new year, in the last 3 months, there has been some bit of consolidation. Any of these stocks would you advise at the current levels?
I will advise him. Both stocks are good in terms of fundamentals with
Okay.
respect to business models. But again, you rightly pointed out with respect to valuations, both are trading at 100 plus P. That would be the one concern. But one has to wait for Q4 earnings. So if the company is ready to perform well in terms of delivering good volume growth, good margin growth, at any price, again 15,000 also is good for me to buy if there is a good EBITDA margin growth and volume growth. So both stock for long term, I am very much confident they can do better from the current levels. On a consumption story, Trend can do great from current levels again. In terms of EMS, again there are a lot of business which are coming into India for China plus one strategy, and Dixon management has said there are a lot of inquiries, but they are don't have the capacity to deliver at this point of time.
Yeah.
So there is a good order book with them. Good brands are working with the Dixon. I think long term, yes. With respect to price, I need to wait and watch.
Okay, let's take another one. This one is from We have Karthik from Bangalore writing in. Can I take a fresh entry on Bombay Stock Exchange, BSC, at the current levels?
I think you have to do something like SIP in BSC right now. Every dip should be bought as SIP investment for the stock. Obviously, downside is very limited because of the lot of regulatory concern and lot of news were flowing with respect to the FIR which was filed against the management. So those will keep something making headlines, and the stock may come down to 4,000 or 3,800 rupees. So that would be a good level for a long-term investors to add more. Start buying something, invest at least 25% of your capital right now in BSC or Angel or CDSL,
Okay.
but obviously keep on adding it on a every dip levels.
Fair point. We'll take another one. Again, from our YouTube, we have Sinu Sahu writing in. Sir, Gensol Engineering पर आपका क्या view है? Gensol Engineering.
Spelling क्या है उसका?
Gensol, Gensol. Today there is a 20% fall actually on this one. Let's actually look at the reasons why. Gensol Engineering. So he probably wants to know why the stock is actually under pressure so much and what should one be doing. I'm not sure if he currently has the position on this stock right now or not, but currently the stock looks very, very weak at this point in time. In the last 1 week, there's a 27% of a downtick that we have seen already on this one. On Gensol Engineering, would you have a view?
Fundamentally, I don't track this company, but I just did some Google out of that. There was a news saying that some kind of financial health concern are rising in the balance sheet as well as P&L account. That would be very bad for the companies like this. Again, very small market cap company with 1,500 crores. Even ROCs are very good, but we need to watch and detail in the company and then take a call. But time being, it's a avoid from my side.
Okay, got that. We'll take just one more question, and this one is from one of our viewers on our WhatsApp again. Rukmani has written in from UP. She says, I already have invested 4 lakh rupees in stocks like Tata Motors, Jio Finance, Bajaj Housing, but currently my portfolio is down 21%. I also have additional 3 lakh rupees. I have a horizon of 5 years. So where should I put my additional 3 lakh rupees in the current market? My current portfolio is Tata Motors, Jio Finance and Bajaj Housing.
So all three stocks are good. I think there will be a little bit more pain you can visualize in next 1 or 2 quarters. Worst case, you have a little bit of more losses in the books. But obviously, Geo Finance, it is down to its book value right now. 215 is the book value and currently trading at nearly 200, 205. I think a lot of funds have started buying this stock at this point of time. So I'm very much bullish on Geo Finance. Obviously, the view should be 2 year plus from the current level as well. Tata Motors, there may be some kind of short-term pain still. Wait and watch for the Q4 earnings. If there are some kind of stability in terms of volume as well as EBITDA margin, I think Tata Motors should also be a good stock to start. But again, a level which I'm looking for would be 580, 590 can be a great level for Tata Motors to add more. Bajaj Housing Finance, again, fundamentally very strong company. I think as a long-term investors, buy this dip and hold it for 2 years plus. So all three companies are good. Obviously, take some time, add more on every dips. We are almost near the last leg of volatility.
Okay, fair point. Well, we will now end this show. Thank you so much, Prashant, for being with us and answering so many of our viewers' questions. Always appreciate your time and, your clear advice to all our viewers as to how to really sift through the clouds and really look at the long term and find out which are the stocks and strategies that will work best for you in the long term. Thank you. Appreciate your presence with us on Daily Calls. With that, viewers, we wrap up this edition of Daily Calls right here, but you can stay tuned on to Business Today Television throughout the course of the day. We'll be speaking to several off-market experts to guide you through the current markets and the outlook going forward. Stay tuned.